Hello dear students, welcome to Term 2 Mathematics. Are you wondering what your teacher is playing with blocks? Yeah, well, today we are going to learn about shapes. Okay, before we go into the textbook, take a look around in the room that you're sitting. Do you see shapes? Of course, the window is a shape, the door is a shape, the fan is a shape, your clock is a shape. Yes? So the shapes are all different shapes and sizes are all around us all the time. But today we will learn about two-dimensional and three-dimensional shapes. We will learn them all in detail. So let's take our textbooks. I hope you have your learning ladders in page number 41. Let's just move these aside for a few minutes and we will come back to these. So two-dimensional shapes. It's otherwise called as 2D. So the word itself tells you two-dimensional. Two-dimensional, that means these shapes have only two dimensions or two measurements. What are they? The length and the width. The length and the width. It does not have a height. Now 2D shapes are also called as flat shapes. And flat, what do you think about when you remember shapes, flat shapes? Yes, a piece of paper. In fact, the textbook that you are studying in, the book is 3D shape. Okay, we will come to it later. But the pages of this book is a 2D shape. The piece of paper, it's flat. It only has the length and the width. So there are a few shapes which are very commonly seen in as a 2D shape, that is squares, rectangles, triangles and circles. They are the most common 2D shapes. We have all learnt about it right from our lower classes. Okay, so what all did we learn about 2D or two-dimensionals? They have only length and width, no height, and they are flat shapes. And the commonest example is a piece of paper. And what are the common 2D shapes? Yes, triangle, rectangle, square and circle. These 2D shapes are also called as plane shapes. They are also called as plane shapes. That's the other name for it. Now moving on to 3D shapes. 3D shapes have length, width and height. So that's the third measurement. That's why 3 measurements. Length, width and height. The most common example is our book itself. So we have the length of the book, the width of the book and the height of the book. Okay, so now you understood. And the 3D shapes are also called as solid shapes. They are also called as solid shapes. Now what are a few examples of 3D shapes? Cube, cone, cylinder, cuboid and sphere. There are 5 shapes that you can learn in 3D shapes. So like you can see here a cube, okay, then you can see a cuboid, okay, and a cylinder, okay, and sphere. I can see extra smile on some people's face. I can imagine, I cannot see you, but I can imagine an extra smile because cricket ball. Cricket is very close to the heart of Indians, right? Okay, so coming back to the lesson, I do not have a cone, but Yeah, we will have a cone shape in a little bit as we are learning. So these are the examples of 3D shapes. So what all did we learn? Shall we just quickly run through? 3D shapes have 3 dimensions, that is 3 measurements: length, width and height. 3D shapes are also called as solid shapes. And 3D shapes, the most common example is your own book. And few examples of 3D shapes are cube, cuboid, cone, cylinder and sphere. Okay, so now let's turn to the next page in our textbook. Before we go to the next page, in page number 41 itself, we have a activity. Can you say whether the objects given below are 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional? Circle the 2-dimensional objects. It's easy, right? And you will now know which is plane and which is a solid shape, and you will be able to circle the 2D shapes. The first interesting fact about a 2D shape is, as you can see, when you stretch a skipping rope tight, you get a straight line. When you hold it loose, you get a curved line. Why are we reading that? It's because all the 2D shapes are made up of straight lines or curved lines. So what is the example that is given here? They are using a skipping rope to explain this. When you stretch a skipping rope, you get a straight line. When you leave it loose, you get a curved. Okay? Moving on, the second most important point about a 2D shape is that it has corners and sides. Now let us look into what are corners. When two straight lines meet, that meeting point is called as a corner. Now we just learned that all the 2D shapes are made up of straight lines or curved lines. So wherever two straight lines meet, that is called as a corner. So look at your textbook. This is a line, straight line, and this is a straight line. Where they both meet, this is called as the corner. This is called as the corner. Now, that's the first point. The second important point is these 2D shapes have, sides. Okay, so what is a side? A line that connects two corners. A line that connects two corners. So let's again take the example of our book, the page. This is the line, straight line, and it connects this corner and the corner here. So that is called as a side. Okay, it is called as a side. So 2D shapes have corners and sides. Wherever two straight lines meet, that meeting point is called as a corner. And the line that connects two corners are called as a side. That's right. Okay. Now let's look at the examples we learned. Circle, square, triangle and rectangle. Let's see how many corners and how many sides each of them have. Please take a look at your textbook. Let's observe and learn. The first one is a triangle. Triangle, it has 3 corners and 3 sides. Triangle has 3 corners and 3 sides. That is 1, 2 and 3. Now the next one, this is a square. It has 4 corners. So let's see where are the 4 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it also has 4 equal sides. So which are the sides? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see the lines that are connecting two corners. The next one is a rectangle. Let's see how many corners and how many sides does a rectangle have. Look at your textbook. A rectangle has 4 corners. It has 4 sides. Now look at the difference between a square and a rectangle. Look at the last line. The opposite sides are equal. In a rectangle, the opposite sides are equal. But what did we learn in a square? Yes, in a square, all 4 sides are equal. Okay, so that's the difference. Let's look back into our textbook. This is a circle. Now, the speciality of a circle is it has no corners. It has no sides as well. Easy to learn, right? So today we have learned about triangle, square, rectangle and circle. They all are 2D shapes. We have learned in depth about these 4 shapes. What are their, how many corners they have and how many sides they have. So turn with me to the next page. Interesting facts about 3D shapes. 3D shapes has, like we just learned, sides and corners. 3D shapes have faces, vertices and edges. Faces, vertices and edges. Now what are these 3 new terms? Let's see each one. Faces. Faces is the flat surface. The flat surface of the object is the face. What is an edge? Where 2 faces meet. Where 2 faces, that is 2 flat surfaces meet, that is called as an edge. The last new term we learnt is vertices. Now vertices is plural, vertex is singular. So vertex is where 2 edges join. Vertex is where 2 edges join. Now we can see the example with the help of these blocks. As you can see, it has a flat surface. It has a flat surface. 1 flat surface, 2. So they are called as faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this has 6 faces. Now what's the second thing we learned? 3D shapes have edges. What are edges? Do you see where the faces meet? 1 and 2, it meets in this place. This is an edge. This is an edge. Okay? And where 2, so how many edges do we have? Let's count that also before we go to vertex. 1 edge, then this face and this face meets. So there is a second edge. Then another face and this face meets. So there's another edge. Then another one, another one. So let's count all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. It has 12 edges. Okay. Now, moving to the next one. Vertex. What is a vertex? Vertex is where 2 edges meet. This meeting point is called as the vertex. Or when you have more than one vertex, it's called a vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 vertices. Okay, now you can see the difference? Yes. So, let's take a look at your textbook. This is a cone. It has one plain face, as you can see in the picture, and one curved face. It has one vertex. It has one edge. Its base is a plain face and it is circular in shape. So what all does the cone have? One vertex, one plain face, one curved face, one edge, and it is circular in shape. So did you see that it has everything, one each, and it is called as a cone. Now the next one. This is a cylinder. It has 3 faces, that is the top plane face, the bottom plane face, and the circular face or the curved face. How many edges does it have? It has 2 edges. The edge on the top, that is, it is connecting the curved face and one of the plane face, that is the top plane face, and the second edge is at the bottom. And this one, that is the cylinder, does not have a vertex. Now, did you understand a little bit better about cylinders? Alright, we'll move on to cube. This is a cube and it has 6 faces. We just took an example of a cube by looking at the block. So, we already know it. It has 6 faces and it has 8 corners. Okay, here the corners are otherwise called as vertices. 8 corners and 12 edges. Each face of a cube is a square. Each face of a, yes, the face is the flat surface. Remember? So, each of those faces is a square and square has all 4 sides equal, right? Okay, now let's move on to the last shape, that is the cuboid. This is a cuboid. It has 6 faces. Let's see which are the 6 faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, like we learnt in the cube, it has 6 faces. Then it has 8 vertices. It's written corners, but it is vertices. So, just like in square, and it has 12 edges. Just like in the cube, the cuboid also has 8 vertices and 12 edges. Now, the opposite faces and the edges are equal. Did you hear that somewhere else? Yes, in 2D shape, in rectangles, we heard the opposite sides are equal. But in square, we learnt all 4 sides are equal. Okay. Each face of a cuboid is a rectangle. Okay. Now, we have one more shape to learn, but that is almost like our circle that we learned in 2D. It's a sphere. It has no edges and no vertex. It has no edges and no vertex. But it has one curved face all around. Let's take the example of a cricket ball. Do you see any edges? No, it has no edges. Do you see any vertex? No, it doesn't have any vertex. But all through it's a curved face or a curved surface. Okay? That's the shape that is called a sphere. Okay, moving on to the exercise in page number 45. Can you write the number of corners and sides for the following 2D shapes? I'm sure you can, because we just learned and we also know what are the corners, what are the sides. Then in 3D shapes, we know what are the faces, we know what is a vertex, what is a edge. So the moment you see a shape, then first you understand whether it's the 3D shape or a 2D shape. And once you understand that, then you start looking for sides and corners or faces, edges and vertices. And then you count them. Easy, right? Okay, so you try the exercise and turn to the next page. There is another set of exercise for you. This will tell you a little bit more whether you have understood the concept of 2D and 3D shapes. This can be done by you. So take out your pencils and you can start writing. A triangle has dash corners and dash sides. We just learned about it, right? Okay. So the next one is match the following. The names of the 3D shapes are given and the pictures are given. You just have to match them with each other. Okay? Okay, moving on to the next part of shapes. Let's observe and learn. So what are we going to observe and learn? 3 new terms: sliding, rolling and stacking. Sliding, rolling and stacking. So what is this slide, roll and stack, and why do we have to learn it along with shapes? Okay, it's something important because it will tell you what the shapes are and it will also tell you if they can do stacking or rolling or sliding. Okay? Any 3D object. So 3D objects has a flat surface and that flat surface can definitely slide. And if an object has a curved surface, then it can roll. Okay, the second new term we learned. And we can stack objects that have flat surfaces. Okay, so from this sentence in your textbook, we can understand that any 3D objects that has a flat surface can slide and can be stacked. So let's see what are the flat surface. Now this is a curved surface. So if you try to stack on this, it will not stack. It will not stay. See, you can see this cylinder like structure. This can roll. Okay? And if it's a flat surface, we can stack. So this has a flat surface. We can stack it on top of this one. Okay? So any 3D objects which have flat surfaces can be stacked. And those which have curved surfaces can be rolled. Okay? Now this has a flat surface also. So remember, flat surfaces they can slide and they can stack. Did you understand? Okay. Moving on to reading the next part in your textbook. Try rolling a tin can. It will roll when you push it along the curved surface. It can also slide when you push it along the flat surface. So a tin can, which is a cylinder, can roll and slide. Take a look. Similarly, a cone-shaped object can also roll and slide. A sphere can roll but not slide. A cube can slide but not roll. So as you can see on your screen, we are going to experiment what this sentence says. A sphere can roll but not slide. A cube can slide but not roll. So did you see that? Anything that you see in your textbook is all researched, yes, and it's a proved information. So you can also try by doing some experiments in your own house. You can find, like we said, shapes and sizes of things, various shapes and sizes will be available in your house. So you can pick up those things and experiment by yourself. So what are you going to experiment? What are the surfaces that can roll, slide and stack? Okay, moving on to observe the table and learn the properties of objects that have 3D shapes. Again, we are learning a little bit more about the properties of 3D shapes. So, cube. Can it roll? No. Can it slide? Yes. Can it be stacked? Yes. Ball, that is a sphere, example is a ball that we saw, a cricket ball or a football or a basketball, okay, or a tennis ball. So can it roll? Yes. Can it slide? No, because it does not have a flat surface. Can it be stacked? Not at all, because it has a curved face and it cannot be stacked. Cylinder. Can it roll? Yes, because it has a curved face. Can it slide? Yes, because like we saw, the top and the bottom are flat surface of flat face. So it can be stacked and it can slide also. Can it be stacked? Yes, but only on the two sides that are flat. So in a cylinder we saw the flat sides are on the top and the bottom. So those places we can use to stack. The next one is a cone. Can it roll? Yes. Can it slide? Yes. Can it be stacked? Yes. So the cylinder and the cone almost get all the 3 points. Yes. So it can be kept on top of something, but nothing can be stacked on top of it. That is, the cone has only one vertex, we learnt. Okay. So, and that vertex you cannot keep anything. So this is not exactly a cone, but I can show you. Take a look. So here, the flat surface, you can stack it. The flat surface, you can slide. You can slide, right? Okay. Now, the vertex, that is the point. Like I said, this is not exactly a cone. Okay. So we're just going to imagine and keep something here. Let's see the top of it, whether we can keep something. No, you cannot keep it because it has a pointed surface. It needs to be flat for it to be stacked. Okay, moving on. Yes, there are more fun exercises for you to check whether you have understood 2D shapes and 3D shapes. Write R if it can roll, S if it can slide, or R and S if it can roll and slide. So, you can look at these pictures. Most of them are available in your own house. So, you can experiment and write down your findings. Okay, if you need, take the help of your elders. The next exercise, circle the 3D objects below that have at least one flat surface. At least one flat surface. If one of these 3D objects has it, then please circle that object. The next exercise, circle the stacking that is possible. Please take a look at the picture on your screen. As you can see, the cone and the cylinder stacking is possible because they have stacked it with the two flat surfaces. Now look at the second one, the sphere and the cube, do you think it can be stacked? Well, I hope your answer is no, because yes, the answer is no, because it has a curved surface. Only flat surfaces can be stacked, as we learned. The next one, no, we cannot, because the cone has a single vertex, that is a pointed end, and that cannot be stacked. Only flat surfaces can be stacked, remember? Okay. Then the next picture also, no. The fifth picture, yes, it can be stacked because they have flat surfaces. And the last one, yes, it can be stacked. So I have almost answered all your answers, but what you can do is try it out by yourself and learn whether you can stack them and what are the ways you can stack them. Okay, so next one says, can you mark the edge, vertex and face of this cube? So they have given the blank, and since we have learned what are the three characteristics of a 3D shape, you can easily write it. Okay, moving on to the last part of this, Unit 5. Let's learn and enjoy. Take a look at your textbook, that is, take a few 3D shapes that you can get and try stacking them in different arrangements. Some examples are shown below. Now look in your textbook, they have collected all the cylindrical tins and there are also bricks. So you can find things like blocks. Okay, you can also look for tins in your house and you can stack them. Mom will have some tins in the kitchen, yes, where she stores the grains, the pulses and all. So with her permission, you can, and make sure it's not a breakable. Okay, and use plastic or metal tins and start stacking them. In fact, it will be fun. One is you will learn which is a flat surface which can be stacked. The second thing, you will also create new shapes, that is new stacking shapes you will create. So altogether it will be a very fun exercise, and it will also bring out your creativity and it will make your brain really active. Okay, so I hope you learned a lot in this lesson by reading and also doing these exercises in the book and experimenting with various shapes in your own house.